So you've got a Saturday night off and you're wondering, what do you do with yourself? Let's go through 5 tips on what you can do on a Saturday night off. Welcome and thank you for watching tonight. We're going to be talking about 5 tips that you can use on a night off. Say you've got a Saturday night that you're not doing an event and you want to do something. Well, here's some tips for DJs on what to do on that night off. First off, my recommendation for those of you who have family, which we all do, of course, but I'm talking if you have a spouse and children, is the first thing you need to do is spend time with them. There's not many Saturdays that they're going to be able to command your time. If you have a Saturday night off, I put that as number 1 on my list of 5 things. Spend time with your family and recharge the battery. Get to know them because, when this wedding season is going, a lot of us forget what they look like on a Saturday night. Now for the rest of our tips. If you're single or you don't have any family and you don't have any friends and your only friend is your microphone from your DJ system, now we're going to focus on the things you can do as a DJ to become better. Recharging is important, don't get me wrong, but we're going to look at DJ things. Tip number 2, things you can do is watch educational video content. There are DVD programs out there from the likes of Randy Bartlett and Mike Walter and just a variety of different DVD resources out there. There's also like DJN-TV, Disc Jockey News TV, which has a lot of educational content. Find quality video content and study. Learn, hone your craft. Now, a lot of you will say, I like to pop out to YouTube and I like to watch videos on YouTube. Well, there's some good quality content on YouTube. A lot of that content is created by industry veterans who have been there, done that, and are sharing that information with you. Some of it is created by people who haven't been there and haven't done that and want you to buy something from them, and they don't have that experience and they don't have that knowledge behind them, so you're investing basically in some kind of a weird little funnel, Ponzi scheme, weird whatever. Look for industry veterans who are respected within the industry and learn from them. Use them as a mentor if you want to go with that term, but learn from those people who have been there, done that, and you want to emulate at a level within your performance and within your shows. The last source for finding that education in our step 2 is TED Talks. Now, a lot of you have heard of TED Talks. They're these little 15 to 20 minute educational talks that are happening around the country and around the world. But TED Talks are a great source of some different ideas, and sometimes it'll be business related, sometimes it'll be whatever related, but there are things inside of TED Talks that, if nothing else, it will help to open your mind and help you to think about things just a little bit differently, which really can help when you are doing things for your events, for your weddings, thinking a little bit differently and kind of outside that box. God, I hate that cliche, but it will help you. So if nothing else, go to the TED Talk area and look at some of the more viewed TED Talks that are out there. So if you've done 2, let's go to number 3, which is read some educational industry material. Well, that brings us right into the home of the Disc Jockey News, of course, because we have our monthly newspaper or an e-edition. But for those of you who are into holding a newspaper, we have got one yet. Disc Jockey News is a resource. You've got Mobile Beat magazine as a resource out there. You've got the DJ Times magazine, which is kind of a little bit more for club DJs, but there's still some content in there for mobile DJs. You also have the ADJ has the Current Audition, which is a free publication. It's an online publication. And then there's Pro Mobile DJ and different websites that have articles that are related to the disc jockey industry. You can find some good quality content on those sites. Now, you might pop out to someone's blog where they've been putting things up, and you'll start reading and find out that this person really doesn't have a real educational track on what they're doing. More what they have is an agenda where they're trying to get a point across, and maybe they're trying to get across, using a certain type of gear, or DJ's not charging enough or whatever, but they don't have that heart of educating the industry. Instead, there's an agenda, and you can kind of wipe away the top layer, and you can see really quickly that all their information is really about one thing, and it's really what their agenda item is. Maybe to get rid of all those bottom feeder DJs in their market, and that's what all their articles are. So be a little careful as you're going around, because you can go and find some of those articles, and you're like, hey, yeah, I agree with this person. I agree. And then you start getting into it, and you're like, whoa, dude, this guy's got some real major issues. Our 4th component of our little 5 tips is going out and finding books. And that could be your ebooks or your Kindle or whatever. But there are some great resources out there on performance in book. Yes, books. That's where the words are on the paper or on the screen. Yeah, on the screen. But there's some things on performance and business and different types of situations. Like one I just finished reading myself was a book written by Mark Cuban. I really like doing that. Books on performance, business, marketing, sales, those are a great resource. Spend some time investing in yourself. Get yourself some of those materials and read them and take notes. Because if you're not taking notes and you're not writing things down, yes, you may take the virtual notes or you might take them digitally, but when you're writing things down, you really start to kind of ingrain it a little bit more than you do if you type it. It's kind of weird. You'd think, I'm putting the same words down on paper, but it's a little different when you're writing. Take notes, pull out a little sheet of paper and take notes. I do this when I'm flying around to the different events around the country. I've got my iPad there that I'm watching or reading on, and I have a little pad of paper next to me, and I'm taking notes on what I'm reading. That way, when I get to the site and I'm all set up and such in the hotel, I can go through and review the notes. And at that time, then I start making some little notes on what I want to implement here in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if there are things that are implementable in my business. Kind of a cool idea, and it also helps those things to stick. And finally, the last one of the 5 things you can do on a Saturday night is practice. Now, I put this at 5 because what my concern was, practice is very important. Don't get me wrong on this one. But I put it at number 5 because for a lot of you, you would go and set up your systems and just practice and think, oh, this is going to make me a better DJ. It may make you a better performer. I'm not saying it won't. It probably will make you a better performer of the mixes and things. And that's why it's very important. But until you are a knowledgeable business person, until you're learning from other sources, you can only learn so much, and practice will only make you so much better. But once I have the input from other sources, when I am watching some different tutorial videos on mixing, I can now use those in my practice and really start to implement more things. And instead of my growth being, this just by practicing by myself, my growth could be exponential because now I'm being able to implement ideas and thoughts and different things from different sources. So practice is one of the top 5, but it is number 5 because you need to do some of the other things. You need to learn from quality trainers in their DVD programs and watching video from quality people online who are training, reading about things so you can go and put those things into play as you practice. Now that's 5. I've got 5 more quick ones that I'm going to throw out there. These are other things that you can do on a Saturday night, but for most of you, these are things that should be done during the week. Now the things we just did on a Saturday night, the 5 I suggested, are things that should happen because you have some extra time. The next 5 things are things that should be going on a regular basis, so you're not having to do these things on that time where you could be spending with family. So number 6 is clean and maintain gear. It's something that should be happening on a regular basis, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, what have you, depending upon the gear, depending upon the situations. Maintaining and cleaning gear should be done during the week. If not, Saturday night becomes your time. Updating your music library is number 7. You should be doing this weekly also. For a lot of us, our services are getting us music during the week. You need to be keeping that music library up to date because when you go to that next teen dance or even a wedding, you might have someone requesting a song. You may not play the song, but it's always kind of cool when you can point to it and say, yeah, it's right here. And they walk away, especially if it's not very good. 8, updating your social media. You should be doing this during the week. You should be doing this every day, every other day, every day, at least once a day. That's important. If you aren't, you might be able to catch up on a Saturday, but social media should be done on a regular basis. Number 9 in our final tips here is updating your website. Now, this is something you don't have to do as frequently, so this could become that one Saturday night off a month, a project for that Saturday night, but it really should be done during the week, some other time, because you don't need a Saturday night up when you could be spending it with family and recharging your battery. Updating your website, important to keep it up to date, but it could be more of a monthly task. And finally, number 10, with our 5 additional little tips that we threw in here at the end of things that should be happening during the week. And 10 is certainly one of those tips. 10 is updating your marketing, your packages, all your information that you're using basically to convey your message to your bride outside of websites. Some of us still have printed material. This is a time to update that. These things should be done on a regular basis because if you're alluding to songs that were really hot in 2014 in your promotional packets, it might not resonate too much for the 2016 bride. She's going to want to hear you talk about some songs that had an impact on your event that were used in 2015. Or things that you might project into 2016, that whatever. Make sure your information's up to date. Should be done during the week. Don't waste your Saturday night on this, but if you are full-time at a regular job during the week, and do DJ part-time, Saturday might become your time to do this, because when you start digging into your full package of information and really start taking it apart and putting it back together, it can take hours to do this and do it properly. So that's my 5 tips plus 5 bonus ones here of things that you could possibly do on a night off, whether it's a Friday or Saturday. We talked Saturday in this video. If you've got something that you would do on a night off that helps you as a business person, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this one, because this is something that, we find ourselves with those odd nights off, and there's really nothing going on with the family. There's really nothing going on, and we could use that time to make ourselves better. If you've got something you've done on that night off, beyond going out to the bar and watching other DJs. I didn't put that in here because I personally feel it's a good thing to go out and watch other DJs. I think it's really a bad idea to go out in a bar and get really drunk as you're trying to watch other DJs. So it didn't make any of my top 10, and it probably wouldn't make even my top 15. If you got something, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this, because this is something that a lot of us have those nights off, especially as we get into the fall, and we need to utilize that time to really help our business. If this is your first time of checking out one of our tips videos, please click the subscribe button right here. That will get you up so you will not miss a video release of us. We do a lot of videos throughout the week where we're talking about gear, and we're talking about performance, we're talking about training and education, motivation, all of that. Click that subscribe button right there, and you can get subscribed to the Disc Jockey News YouTube channel. If you'd like to check out a lot of the educational videos that we do with the Disc Jockey News TV, click on this video player right here. That will take you to the playlist of all the DJN TV episodes that are released weekly, different nights of the week. We got a lot of great content there. Click that video player and find out more. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you like the video, click the like button down below. Give it a thumbs up. Any thoughts on what you do on a night off, comments down below. We really appreciate it. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News.
If I were you, I'd hit the subscribe button before I hit the video. But don't mess things up. Wanna know why? Because I'm